Hello guys, I'm the Fruity Pod Vendor. Did you ever wonder what it would be like to win $1 million? I mean $1 million? Well, wonder no more, because this podcast is all about winning $1 million. And if you want to know what it's like to win $1 million, stay tuned, because here comes the podcast. Hello guys, and welcome back indeed. Yes indeed, this is another podcast, and this podcast is all about $1 million. The $1 million question is, if you won $1 million, what would you do? Well, I suppose winning $1 million now, and now is 2021, is a lot different than winning $1 million in times gone by, because $1 million in times gone by might just see you through the rest of your life. But now $1 million would not even see you through to the next 10 years. Well, maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. If you live like me, it probably wouldn't. But let's see, what would I do if I won $1 million? $1 million. I wouldn't stop working because I don't think I could afford to stop working. I would not necessarily buy a big fancy car, because if I did that, I'd be just splashing out money and it would depreciate, and that's a recipe for disaster. So what do you do? It's a perplexing question. Do you give some of the money to friends and family? Well, a lot of people would do that. Some people don't want to do that, and if they don't want to do that, that's their priority. My priority is to take care of myself. Yes, myself, and that's the main priority. And when it comes to $1 million, I think sometimes that I might spend it foolishly, and if I spent it foolishly, I'd have a long time to repent. And they always say, marry in haste, repent at leisure. Well, spend in haste and repent at leisure, that's for damn sure. I think that I'd like to think that I do. I'd like to think that I'd invest it. But where would I invest it? How could I invest it? I'd need some advice on investment. But then again, if you had $1 million and you asked someone for advice on investment, how could you trust that person? I don't really know. That's when you find out who your friends are. Oh, well, I'd say you would have a lot of friends if you won $1 million, and they would be what you would call fair-weathered friends. Now, I never had fair-weathered friends because I never had $1 million. So therefore, the friends I have, I assume, are genuine people who want to be my friends because they want to be my friends. But if you had $1 million, you would never know. So I heard the story of a woman in England who won the UK National Lottery, and her husband asked her to marry him just before, the day before she won the lottery. And she was asked the question, after she had won the lottery, she was still married to him, would she have married to him if he'd had asked her to marry her the day after she won the lottery? And she had to answer, probably no. So there you go. So I suppose $1 million can't buy you happiness. $1 million can't buy you a lot of things, but there are a lot of things $1 million can buy you, and it could buy you some satisfaction, some security. There you are, security for your old age. If you had $1 million put by for your old age, you could relax, you could travel, you could do the garden, you could do what you wanted to do, but really and truly $1 million would see you through the rest of your life. If you were 65 and you retired, yeah, how long have you got left? You know what I mean? How long is a piece of string? But then again, $1 million at that stage of your life could see you through to the end. But if you win $1 million in your 20s, well, you know you got a long way to go. So investment is the key, and wise investment is the key. And that's when you find out who your friends are. So there you go. That's my view on winning $1 million. I don't think I ever will win $1 million. But if I ever did win $1 million, I'd soon find out who my friends are. And I think I'd have to invest wisely, and I wouldn't like to spend it foolishly, because as I said, spend in haste and repent at leisure. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast about winning $1 million, and if you did, it would be worth $1 million to me if you click that subscribe button, click the notification bell, click the like button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful podcast very soon. Thank you for joining me.